this here. I thank God for you too, preacher, because there's no me without you. Come on now. All right, so listen. If you're new to Doc Reid, lies, lies, lies. Yes. Billy Nicole. Well, you know, I'll lie in a minute. Okay, so listen. Get the book. Okay, if you have not got it, I want this in the hand of every woman, every single woman. If you're married too, that's fine too, because there's some situations in here for you. You feel me? But that's why it's free. That's why it's free. What your father didn't tell you, your mother didn't know, the forbidden secrets of the goodie box. Okay, if you on Mars, I want you to have this. You can be a Martian single woman. I bet it's all the same stuff. I bet the men and Martians are jacked up too. So yes, get the book. Go to my forbidden, Lord Jesus, upside down. Go to ChristopherReid.org. Have to finish the book. Yes, you do. And you have to let me know what you think about it. ChristopherReid.org. Get your free copy, PDF, the Kindle. Also the Doc Reid, that's my Twitter handle, that's my Periscope handle, that's my something else handle, I don't know, Instagram, Doc Reid, YouTube, all of that. I'm out here. Okay, also you heard me mention a little while ago, a few months ago, about the group coaching that I'm going to be doing. All right, I said I was going to pick it up in January. That is here. All right, it's going to be starting. Let me get my calendar. Okay, we're going to start on the 28th. Now, I told you I'm only doing 10, so I got a couple slots left. Okay, so if you're really interested, you really want to be in on this, you want some information, whatever, please get at me ASAP. Okay, it's the you, your boo to I do. All right, that's talking about your baggage, getting it unpacked, unloading it, learning how to love you. Also, the your boo part, talking about these guys, what your father didn't tell you, your mother didn't know, getting into the mind of a man, because that's what y'all want to know, what we thinking, so you understand how to position yourself. Also, the I do part. That's the end game. You know, you ain't out here just to be dating. Who wants to do that? You want to be a wife. You already a wife. You're just waiting for the manifestation of that thing to just happen, right? So we talking about what makes that love that lasts a lifetime. Now, your boy, I've been married 22 years, almost in March. So I can share some things with you. You know what I'm saying? I've been through it. You know, so my thing is give you those nuggets that you're going to need to make that thing last. Because once you get married, all right, that's kind of like the beginning. All right, we need to know how to make this last 30 and 40 years. So anyway, if you're interested, get at me, email me, ChristopherReid.org, go to my website. All right, let's get into this thing. Somebody brought this up last week. I told you, if you bring it to me, I'm going to talk about it, because I'm assuming that's what you want to talk about. All right, how do you know when you find your soulmate? That's a common thing. People want to know, you know, is this some magical thing? Is it some kind of mystical thing? Well, I don't know, maybe kind of just a little bit. But we want to try to make it tangible. I'm into the tangibles, because I wanted to give you something that you can sink your teeth into. I don't want it to be just pixie dust and, you know, bat wings and all that kind of stuff and smoke. No. I want to give you something that you can say, oh, yeah, that's it. All right. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. Now, first of all, I want to deal with a few misconceptions about this thing, the soulmate thing. Because I know a lot of times we want to make it very mystical. So you hear harps playing, and maybe you might hear some harps playing. I'm not saying that you don't, but at the same time, maybe not all the time. Okay, so one of the misconceptions is that the person that is your soulmate do look at his head. Okay, yes, it's a beautiful head. Yes, one should be so lucky to have a head like this. Anyway, so listen. All right, so here's the deal. One of the misconceptions is that your soulmate is going to be perfect, okay? And like, because I know we got our list and we go down them and say this is what we want, this is what we need for us. But ladies, your soulmate, I got news for you. Even though he's your soulmate, he ain't going to be perfect. Now, I know that you know, cognitively, he's not going to be perfect like Jesus type perfect, but you got to also readjust that expectation. All right, because here's the thing that you need to know. He's going to be perfect for you. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but he's going to be perfect for you. Okay, so we're talking about a hand in glove kind of situation here. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me give you a good example. Take myself. All right. Like I said, been married almost 22 years, and I know y'all think I'm perfect, but I got to bust your bubble. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know about relationships, but I got problems, all right? So I've been doing pretty much some of the same things for the length of our marriage. Okay, so let's just say that, for example, I lay my clothes wherever I lay them. Yeah, that's where there's a clothes hamper, but somehow they don't always make it there. They make it there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown, but at the same time, there's some things that I do, and it drives my wife crazy. But at the same time, she's grown to adjust and just to say, okay, that's what he does, and that's how he is, and I'm not gonna blow a gasket over that. Okay, right? Yeah, I know. Here's another thing, ladies. Now, the same thing that maybe y'all appreciate me for, okay, sometimes can drive my wife nuts. What's up, baby girl? Okay. Oh, I know you know I ain't perfect. Well, meaning I analyze everything. And so my wife tells me, she says, listen, don't talk to me like I'm one of your clients. I'm not your client, I'm your wife. And I'm sitting there like, okay. Don't analyze, okay? And so, but at the same time, she knows this is how I was when she met me, okay? I'm not, and I understand what she's saying. She's like, don't do the computer thing with me. And I get that. But sometimes Doc Reid he's just on, okay? So she's learned that about me. She knows that about me. She accepts that about me. She still loves me, all right? So even on the flip side with her, so my wife, she can go hard in the paint. Here's what I mean. She's very determined. Very, when she puts her mind to something, she's going for it. So she's done bodybuilding. She's done marathons. She's done, she's in the CrossFit now. So my thing is, dear, we're not in our 20s no more. You feel what I'm saying? So, she back hurting, slow to get up a little bit, but she's so she's focused. And I'm like, come on, it don't make sense. Why are you doing that? And why are you going? Hey, I learned, leave her alone. Leave her alone. I'm not going to get involved in it because you know what? She's going to do it anyway. So I love that about her. I just let it go. Also, my wife, she can go through here like the Tasmanian devil. Let the girls leave stuff all over the place and make the house look like it's crazy. Listen, you just better watch out. Just duck, just let it go. But that's what she does, okay? It's like a tornado. Just let it blow through after a while, all right? You may lose the house. You may lose, your refrigerator may be over here. But at the same time, if I'm frozen, go out, come back in. Because over here it seems cool. So I don't know if I'm frozen to everybody else, but it seems like it's flowing over here. So if you go out, come back in, maybe, okay. All right, cool, I'm good. So my point is, with all of that, I'm just saying that they're not going to be perfect. Okay, and I know y'all know that, but sometimes we can get into these situations where we kind of starry-eyed, we kind of romanticize the situation. And, little girls, ever since the time that you were little, okay, the fairy tales, Prince Charming and, Beauty and the Beast and all this kind of stuff, it can kind of romanticize the situation a little bit, and we can kind of look for, unrealistic expectations. Now, I'm not saying that to say that it's not going to be a good time and it's not going to be a fun time, but at the same time, we just need to be realistic about it. Another thing is, just because you fall in love with somebody don't mean that you're going to marry them. Ooh, what, sir? Excuse me? Hey, good evening. Good evening, Just Bless 16. Yeah, just because you love somebody, you fall in love with each other, doesn't mean that y'all supposed to get married. Oh, let me cook this thing real slow, okay? Because I believe there's some misconceptions out here that because I loved him, because I loved him, that you somehow think, let me bring you up on game, ladies. Okay, when we talk about dating, there are levels to this game. You see what I'm saying? There are levels out here. Oh, what's up, Minister Mac? Glad you could join us on tonight. But there are levels when it comes to dating. So think about a pyramid, if you would. All right. So to get to that place called holy matrimony, you got to go through several levels. Okay. And each level has certain criteria that has to be met. Okay, before you are certified, so to speak, certified for marriage. Okay, you've done what's necessary, you've met the criteria, and you're ready for this thing. So in the beginning, hey, it may be all wonderful. It may be all gumdrops and lollipops. All right, in the beginning, we loving each other. It's a good time. But somewhere in the middle of our pyramid, we may discover that we're not really, we're arguing all the time. We chipping at each other, and we just like, what's going on? Why ain't it happening? That's because y'all couldn't meet all the criteria of that level. See, the closer you get to that, that holy matrimony, that means that you're going to start to see more of me. You're going to start to see more of my not so wonderful essence. It doesn't mean that I'm bad or they're bad, but at the same time, it just means that this is who I am. Okay. All of who I am. And so as I start to get into a little bit of my idiosyncrasies and maybe a little bit into my moodiness and, you know, my quirky ways, we might not gel as much. You may be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. You know, I love you, but I don't love you like this. Okay. And that's fine. You don't have to. All right. But we can make a grown up decision to just say, well, let's just kiss and say goodbye. Okay. And that's okay. You don't have to be mad. But see what we do. Here's what we do instead. We try to make it work. But the time wasted. I'm trying not to get mad at the process. You can't get mad. The process is the process. I mean, you can't get mad at that. It is what it is. I think a lot of times we get mad at the process when we made a lot of decisions in the past. It wasn't in our best interest, and we go from bad situation to bad situation, a lot of times. And I understand the lost time, and I understand that sucks, and I understand that the age thing, and it's like, trust me, I get all that, but it is what it is. I don't like going to the DMV either, you know what I'm saying, when I got to get my license renewed, but it is what it is. Is there a time limit then? A time limit? You are so right. Forcing a square, okay, when it's a circle. No, there's no real time limit. What I'm saying is you don't want to be out here going through the process for 10 years with the same person. No, you should know as you're going through these levels, okay? And that's what I talk about with my coaching, you know, my clients, you know, we work through the levels and talk about what that's about, you know, and how to successfully go through that. So at the same time, yeah, you're very welcome. So as you're going through this and you determine that this person is not for you, okay? You should be able to, very mature people should be able to just say that and just let it be what it is. But oftentimes, like I said, we try to force it. We try to make it work. And then sometimes we even try to force a marriage. So what keys to knowing when to let go? Hold on. I'll answer that. So we even try to force the marriage. Does this happen with friendships too? It can. I imagine it has its own version of that with friendships. Never really thought about it, but I would imagine all relationships have some level of progression. And getting closer and more intimate with each other in terms of those unpleasant parts about ourselves and being able to love each other unconditionally. So when you try to force it though, and it's not there, then you're really going to waste time. Then you may do some damage that's not repairable. Okay, we may fall out in such a way that I don't want to see you again. You don't want to see me again. And it gets real ugly. We don't need to get there. Okay, we don't need to get there. So I'm just saying this is something that you don't want to do. But like I said, you have to have a certain level of maturity, because if you have, you know, pixie dust in your eyes, Cali in the house. What's up, Vonnie 43? Appreciate you coming out here. Welcome to the party. All right. If you have, you know, pixie dust in your eyes, you might not see this. All right. So if you're asking me some questions, please hold on to your questions. I want to answer them. I just want to make sure I get through this. What's the difference between forcing it and accepting someone's flaws? When you're forcing it, oh, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. I mean, ask the questions, but just keep them in mind if I say, okay, I'm flowing through this. What's the difference accepting someone's flaws? I think that if you get to the point where those sides of you come out, hey, what's up, Dieta? When those sides of you come out and that person can't deal with it, they can't handle it, then you know, because if that part of you, the flaws come out and that person cannot deal with it, or they try to make you pay for being who you are, then you know that you can't accept me, flaws and all. You demonstrating that you can't love me. I mean, okay, say for women, y'all can be up and y'all can be down. That's just a natural flow of things. It's not a bad or good situation. It is what it is. But if he can't love you while you're in your valley moments and support you, oh, baby, it's all right. You know, what do you need me to do? I got you. You know, left my offering, got a roll. Talk to you. Love you, man. Appreciate you. All right. We'll talk. Then you know that this guy is not the one. Now, if he has his situation, like sometimes guys need a little time, you know, not to pull away like gone for several days, but he just needs his little alone time every once. He may have his little man cave corner. It may be the bathroom. I don't know where it is, but if you won't allow him to have those moments, okay, to get his mind together, not that he's blocking you out. Okay, he tells you, babe, I just, just give me a hot second. I'm here with you. Just give me. But you, he may say, well, wait a minute, hold on. I just asked for a hot second. No, why you need? Maybe it ain't. And those are just isolated incidences. I mean, it could be whatever it is, but though you will know if that person can't love you and support you through those moments, then this is not it. And that's okay. Okay. Because when those parts of me come out, because, everybody puts their best foot forward in the relationship. That's what we do. You don't meet nobody and say, hey, I want to introduce you to my more uglier, unpleasant parts. We don't do that. Some people wear theirs outside, but maybe they're just not pleasant, period, to begin with. So that's all I'm saying. All right. So like I said, if you got questions, I want to answer it. Please let me know. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What? Oh, on the, yeah, I did. Okay. I'm stupid, right? Next, there's some prerequisites. Okay, we just talked about the misconceptions, and now there are why can I say this word? Prerequisites, all right? The prerequisites are, Keisha, you know this one. You got to have an open heart, okay? Got to have an open heart. All right, why do we say an open heart? Well, what does this mean? Well, this means that when you come out of a situation, no matter how bad, jacked up, awful, hurtful, destructive, whatever, it was Armageddon on crack cocaine, that you have to make sure you have gone through the process that when you get into this new situation, even if it is your soulmate, that you're open to it. Because the challenge is you can be so guarded that you miss out even on this amazing situation. So the wounds and scars that you've been through, they're okay. Okay, that's just reflective of the fact that you've been through something. And I know it's hard. And we're going to massage this a little bit. So say, for example, you break your arm. Okay, you broke your arm. Well, when you break your arm, and say it was an ugly break, like the bone came out through the skin, it was crazy. Guilty not doing it, choosing to be open. Okay, bone came out through the skin, it was nasty, it was ugly. Yeah. Okay, but when it healed, if it healed properly, they said it. Okay, you may have a scar there, but the scar does not indicate that you're somehow limited now. You still have full mobility. You still have full range of the arm. You can do a handstand and all of that. So that means that as you move forward, you can do the things that you need to do with that arm. However, if you got hurt and you still have the scar, but at the same time, it didn't heal properly, I'm going somewhere with this now. If it did not heal properly, because when we talk about this right here, this is the fertile ground. All right. We got to be able to sow into this. All right. So that relationship can take roots and it can grow. All right. But if this soil right here is not fertile, if it's very hard ground and we drop seeds in it, hello, somebody, it's not going to take root. And some of y'all have very hard soil. Okay, some of your arms were not set properly. Okay, it grew back like, something crazy looking. You feel what I'm saying? And so I understand this is very hard. And this is one of the most common things I have to deal with my clients about the whole open heart thing, because you can have a guy who's really great. You can have a guy that's amazing. You can have a guy that's doing all the wonderful things. All right. But instead of saying, oh, wow, this is a great guy and he's doing everything I've always wanted, now it's like, what's wrong with him? Why he's so nice? Okay, he too nice. I don't get this. And so now we're very suspicious. Reverend, I didn't call you out. You just called you out. I didn't say nothing. Reverend, I work with a lot of people. So this ain't you. Hey, Tanya, did you get the notification? I was going to send you one, Reverend, but you said you had to work. So I said, well, she ain't going to be able to watch the scope. No way. Yeah, no shame. I know you on it. You know what I'm saying? You're a big girl. So you can have this amazing guy and still be looking at him with the side eye like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for you to show your true colors, because I know at any moment, and the guy's like, what true color? These are my true colors. So leaving work. Okay, cool. Well, I wasn't sure. I didn't have the schedule, preacher. So he will eventually, he can get frustrated if he keeps, meeting the brick wall. So ladies, all right, you got to make sure that you do the work and make sure that you heal from this. Because if you don't, and you don't go into the next situation open, and I know for a lot of you, open means vulnerable, and it means that equates to being very scary. Because one of you said it was very hard. Okay, well, why is it so hard? But it's really hard when you feel like you're out here and it's kind of just like a guessing game. It's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and wherever it lands, then I'm just going to make my heart open to this joker. Yeah, it's risky, but it's calculated risk. Ah, yeah, come on, somebody. So if you're going to be investing, okay, say you're going to be investing, it's hard when you are not healed. It's hard when you're not healed. Yes. Oh, teacher. Okay. It feels like bleeding out. Oh my God. These are some very interesting illustrations. but I get it. And see, you would think now these are comments that you as women are making. Okay, now you would think normally guys will say this kind of stuff because they ain't really too keen on being vulnerable. But you know what? A lot of guys out here are vulnerable. I'm talking about real guys are willing to be vulnerable. Okay, the bleeding out thing. Wow, that the visual on that is nuts. I mean, that sounds hurtful. Is that how it feels to you? Like you're bleeding out? Like what? Help me understand that. Walking on glass after being cut the first time. These are very, do you guys watch a lot of scary movies I don't know, where the analogies come from? Met a good one, not gonna mess it up. No. I mean, seriously, the analogies are very graphic and gory. It is a great, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling a slight twinge of pain just listening to it. It's like, what's that one scary movie with the talking dummy head and what? Saw. It's kind of like Sawish. It hurts. No, I get it. But you know what? A lot of that, though, here's the deal. Seriously. A lot of you made bad decisions for good reasons. Okay. Part of me feels that in this unhealed state, I've already missed someone that may have been right. Could have, but doesn't mean that you can't meet someone else. So don't think that it's over, it's done, you're just one and done. That's not how this works, okay? When you are in a position, and I know you hear me say this, and I know for some of you it sounds like, yeah, man, whatever. You keep preaching the same thing, whatever. But I'm trying to tell you, it's true. Once you get in a position where you really are open, because that's really what a blessing is. Because so many of you are so scared to get hurt because of so much baggage and stuff that you really haven't dealt with, all right, that the man finds a wife type thing, you feel like you're not even getting that. What sucks is how long it can take to truly heal. Here's the thing about healing. It's not an overnight thing, but when you say how long it can take, what have you done to try to heal? Because you can make an attempt. Okay, say that broken arm analogy I gave. You can set your arm in a cast. Don't allow it to move. Okay, it heals properly. So then take the cast off. You good. Or you can just allow the arm. It'll heal, I guess. Don't put it in a cast. And it may be all weird looking. Okay. And means it didn't heal properly. So I don't know what maybe you did to heal. It takes longer when you don't know what needs to be healed and how it needs to be healed. This is very true. Very true. So yeah, the healing process is, first of all, knowing what needs to be healed and knowing how to get it healed. So I don't know what you did to try to heal, but I personally don't believe that the healing needs to take that long. And when I say that long, I'm not talking about years. I mean, I ain't even talking about like months. It's true that for however long you are with someone, it takes half that time to heal. Yeah, I mean, let me say this, if you're coming right out of a relationship, you gotta deal with that broken heart. I mean, that is what it is. You're not gonna speed that process up, but you can retard the process. Let me tell you that. You can drag that broken heart process out a lot longer. Some people drag that out for years. I was married over 20 years. Were you? Oh my Get out of here. Your picture, you don't look nowhere near old enough to be married no 20 years. Anyway, okay. Well, hey, if you married 20 years, it's going to take a little time to get over that. Okay. But there again, you got to do it in a healthy way. So the only way I can say is there a conflict with soulmate relationships. Yeah, I mean, they're not perfect people. You're perfect for each other. It doesn't mean you're not going to have disagreements. Or is it easy breezy? No, it's not just easy breezy. I mean, we're human, we're people. But I'm just saying still that they can still experience the worst of us and at the same time be willing to support and love us through it. There's like you have a grace there for it. You shouldn't be like just all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's just no. There's no grace there. It's almost like when the spies went to spy out the promised land, and Caleb and Joshua was like, "Oh no, we can do this. They got giants and stuff, but we can take them." And everybody else was like, "No, we can't. I don't know what you thinking. I'm not going over there. I'm not fighting nothing." You know what I'm saying? My insurance don't cover that. So what they were graced to be able to handle, the other ones couldn't. So I think, and it's not to say that Caleb and Joshua weren't prepared for the fight. They just knew that we got whatever we need to God. God is with us. So, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing. We got it. So I'm just saying that's kind of like the difference as I see it. But, this is good. I mean, I see that there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear of being hurt even more. But I'm trying to tell you, I can't emphasize it enough. And trying to describe it to someone. Now, I don't know what y'all have done to heal, what y'all have done to not heal. So, but trying to describe the process of healing to someone who hasn't gone through the process of healing is kind of like y'all trying to describe what it's like to give birth to me. And me like really conceptualize it. I don't have no frame of reference. I can see it. I can hear about it. I have no idea how to relate to that. Prayed and stayed away from relationships. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Prayed and stayed away from relationships. You in my message. You might have the Holy Spirit with you. Because here's the thing. I have a lot of women have said to me that, well, I got out of a bad relationship and listen to my videos. Amazing start. Got out of a bad relationship and I hit the pause button. I didn't date anybody for like 2 or 3 years. I just, I read some books and, but I really just took time and I just focused on me. So then after that, I got back into, dating again. Doctor's never wrong. Not in my experience. Well, praise the Lord. Let's hope I can maintain that. Yup. In medication now. Who? I'm sorry if I didn't read that right. Shoot, what was I saying? Oh, okay. So you take a break, but then you start back up, right? And you start having the same problems. And you're like, wait a minute, how come I'm still experiencing the same things? Well, you hit the pause button, but nothing really changed. So some people, and I'm not saying this is what you did, I don't know what you did, but some people hit the pause button. They don't really fix anything. They just stop being exposed to what was the problem. Okay. And they feel like because they were no longer exposed to these men and making these bad decisions. Okay. Then, everything is okay because they've gotten into a better space. There's been no drama, none of all of that. But they didn't find out what was going on inside them that was causing them to be involved in these relationships to begin with. Correct that, heal that, and then move on. They just hit the pause button. So then when they get back out there and they think now, okay, I can better decide who I should be with, who I shouldn't, they still get back into a horrible situation. And they're even more frustrated because they're like, I took time off and I thought I healed. No, you just paused. So pausing and healing is... Tanya, you're stupid. You're funny. So pausing and healing, two totally different things. Okay, so just make sure... So just make sure if you say that you healed, you really did the things to heal, because healing is a serious process. Man, y'all crack me up for real. And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. And keep this in mind that, yeah, Tanya's going to be coming out with that blog. I ain't going to even tell you what the name of it's going to be. But understand this, ladies. You should have this motto that you want to be a better me so that so that you can have a better we. All right. And some people try to do it backwards. They try to focus on a better we, hoping that that'll make a better me. It doesn't work like that. No. Better me helps to make a better we. All right. So you get those two me's together and you come together and make that we, and we golden. So don't look for your answers in somebody else. And I think that's one of the hardest components to try to teach somebody, is to really be satisfied and love them. Because that sounds like some canned statement that people throw out there. And it's like a consolation prize. Okay, I've healed some, but I have more to deal with. Yeah. And sometimes here's another thing. It's scary. It's scary. And when you really heal, you got to face those hurts and those pains that you've tucked down real deep. And sometimes you got to work with somebody to help you through it, because some of the things, the pain and hurt and situations and scenarios you've tucked down so deep, you need somebody that can really perform some like spiritual surgery to help really access those hidden chambers that you've even hidden from yourself. You don't even know that it's lying there dormant, and that those wounds are still having an impact and an influence on the decisions that you're making. So you're thinking that you've dealt with things, but you've only really dealt with it at a very surface level. You haven't really gone deep, okay? You haven't done, you know what I'm saying, what I consider, heart surgery, real heart surgery. Because imagine trying to have heart surgery on yourself. You know, you cutting yourself open, and, you know, it's very hard, okay? So you need to get some objectivity. And then that's why I say a lot of times it doesn't take long for somebody who knows what they're looking for. I want to be one of the 10. I know you do. Oh, do you? Okay, well, get at me. Get at me. Hit me up on my website. Like I said, it's going down. Don't have a lot of spots left. Next Saturday is when we're going to start. So anywho, yeah, that's good. Y'all giving me some great feedback. It don't take a lot, Reverend. Don't take a lot of y'all. Just take that solid few. I appreciate it. Okay. Chemistry. Let's talk about chemistry. Okay. You need to clone yourself. Somebody else said that. But probably for a different reason. Yeah, I don't know. Clone myself to do what? I don't know. Tanya, you hear that? I'm amazing. So you can tell me, you can join in now with the choir if you're still there. Being in multiple places at once. Something about that icon is just hilarious to me. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, here's the thing about changing though. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You really got, and I guess that's the only thing that sucks. You really got to be at the end of yourself to really make that change. Anyway, chemistry. Now, the thing with chemistry, as we talk about the whole soulmate thing, there is an element of the whole soulmate connection that I believe you can't really explain. You know, that it's like, we don't know why it works. It just works. So if you look at it from the outside, you'll be like, I don't get that. That looks weird. So for example, like my mom, when she was going to seminary, she met a guy who was actually teaching seminary, and he would always pick with her. Well, that's her version of the story. And so it got on her nerves so bad, you know. Now, this was my mom. She was, you know, she was intense. She said, I'm going to quit the class because I'm tired of picking with me and I'm not on it. And so her friends that she joined with, they were like, well, we did this together, so we was going to come finish together, right? And so come to find out, he liked her. It was like some old little boy on the schoolyard type stuff that you pull the girl's hair and run kind of deal. But so I guess they got past that and started talking a little bit. So he proposed to her. And she was like, listen, we can't get married. And he was like, why not? This is part of the story. She's like, because I'm black and you're white. He's like, Okay, what's that got to do with it? Now, here's the deal. My mom's about my complexion. And this guy looks like Johnny Cash. Now, the point I'm making, well, he done gone on now, you know what I'm saying, God rest his soul. But you would have never, ever put them together. I mean, never. My mom, hey, what's up, Harriet? Long time no talk to. My mom said that, because see, my mom grew up in Mississippi picking cotton, literally picking cotton, like, you know what I mean? So let's just say Mississippi, you in the fields and you watching the kids go on the school bus, you know what I'm saying? Little blonde haired girls. And so she didn't have a lot of love. You feel what I'm saying? So to end up marrying, you know, a white man, that was kind of like not on her bucket list. But she said he was my soulmate and he was really a part of my healing. Okay, because I really was not on white people because of what I went through as a child and the way I had to grow up. And some of the things that I saw in Mississippi, strange fruit, if you feel what I'm talking about. So now moving forward, all right, she ends up with him and you would have never, ever in a million years put them together. Okay. Y'all have seen people. Come on now. Y'all have seen people that you say, I wouldn't have put him with her or her with him. I mean, I ain't trying to hate or nothing like that, but no. I mean, how does that even work? And y'all know they happy. You know they ain't fronting. Okay? They seem genuinely happy. And you still, every time you see them, be like, how'd that work? Yeah, I don't know, it just worked. You know? So it could very well be because they are soul mates. Okay, and they connect on a whole nother level that you can't see. Yes, ugly Karen yes, ugly Karen, bless her heart. She's gonna find a man. She's ugly as sin, but God bless her heart. She's gonna have somebody. All right, so listen. As we talk about the different levels of or areas of chemistry, and Keisha, you might want to speak on this, or Tanya. But when we talk about chemistry, let's talk about 4 areas of chemistry. Now, I'm saying that I believe your soulmate, you're going to connect with them at some level on all of these, in all of these areas of chemistry. Because these make the roots of the relationship. And the roots have to go deep. Because if you only got a couple of these, you know, your tree is going to blow over. All right, so if we talk about physical chemistry. Now, here's one of the challenges with physical chemistry, which lends itself to desire. All right. A lot of y'all ladies let the guys get stuck right here. Okay. Because when he comes in and he sees you and he says, ooh, 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 ooh. You know what I'm saying? He see you. He got one thing on his mind. He ain't thinking about your mind. Okay. He ain't thinking about your spirit. All right. He is coming in for, you know what I mean? And if y'all didn't take care of being healed and whole and all that kind of stuff, you give this joker what he wants. Okay, now the problem with this, all right, you sleep with this man, and now his appetite has been satisfied. Now, this is not a cognitive decision. This man doesn't think to himself that I am very hungry right now. Okay, and I am going to make a conscious decision that once I am fed, then I'm no longer going to have the desire. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's just no more than when you're very hungry and you eat something and you sit there and you're like, oh my God. You don't just say, I'm making a conscious decision. I'm not going to eat any more food. You don't have a desire. Have you ever eaten such a big meal, maybe Thanksgiving or something like that, and somebody suggests food to you? Hey, y'all want another slice of apple pie, some cake or something? And you like, you can't be serious. I can't eat another bite. That's how he feels now after you done gave him the goodie box and all this, and now you want to start talking emotions and you want to start talking mentals and all of that kind of stuff. There's no appetite. It's just desires. It's gone. Okay? So let's keep this in mind, ladies, when you are having some situations, okay, and you're burning up with some desire, because I know the monkey can get on your back and it can be intense, you know, but we don't want to be a one-trick pony out here. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Don't give it to him no matter how hard it is. Yeah, because how are you going to know if he really wants you for you or you for, you know, and guys will say whatever. I mean, he'll tell you whatever you want to hear. You want to hear the moon is pink. You want to hear, I'm going to take you there. You want to hear, I'm going to do this. I don't, but this talk is cheap. So don't get stuck there. All right. Now, next area of chemistry, the mental piece. He'll sell it like, Keisha, you always say he'll get both ears pregnant, and you'll deliver around 3:30. You will have twins. You know what I'm saying? Don't let him get your ears pregnant, ladies. Don't let him do that to you. All right. So mental. Okay. The mental piece is this is where the interest lies. Okay. This is when we say, we got a lot of things in common now. I've heard so many women tell me this. They said, I love to talk to an intelligent guy. Triplets, nose be open. You got to focus on action. Yes, and I know it's hard. Yeah, but on the mental piece, when you talk to a guy, ladies, and his intellectual is so on the one, it's so like he can talk about anything, and you're like, oh my God, I just like to listen to him talk because he's so intelligent, and he can, some of these guys are just so superficial, but you feel like he's making love to you just by talking to you, and just he can talk about philosophy, he can talk about religion, he can talk about politics, he can talk about, and I mean, not on a surface level, but he can really go there. He can talk about poetry, he can whatever. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, yes. It feels like a warm shower, So that's what we're talking about. Because if you get stuck on that physical piece, you're not going to make it here. Okay? But this is when we want him to get into this area so he understands that there's more to you. Okay, and he starts to fall in love with your mind, and he starts to fall in love with who you are, because your interests, they make you who you are. And y'all start, maybe physical thing, I mean, not physical thing, but y'all like, fitness, or, I like doing things outdoors. You like doing things outdoors? I like, maybe some of your careers, you have something in common in that regards, whatever it is. Okay, but that's a whole nother area of chemistry where you gotta connect. All right. But it's not to say that y'all have all the same interests. OK, I'm not saying that. All right. So don't tell that lie. All right. Another thing is emotionally. OK, so emotionally, how you display affection. All right. How you display affection. Like, for example, y'all know about love languages, about, how those are displayed in touch and, acts of service and all of that. But at the same time, does he love you in the way that you need to be loved, or does he only love you in the way that he needs to be loved? Okay. And vice versa. Is he willing to get outside of himself enough to pay attention to you, to give you that peace? How many times have you heard this about a guy? His mom, his sisters, all his friends be like, he ain't never done that for nobody. I've been knowing this joker for 15 years. If he did that for you, he must really like you. Because he don't soften up for nobody. Gerald just don't do that. Poster child again. I do not. Oh, you just gonna win the Poster Child Academy Award tonight, ain't you? Yeah. So when you hear that, that means that guy has made a decision that I'm willing to be affectionate. His mom was a hater. Oof. But you got a story, don't you? You got a story. Like I said, you may have a guy who doesn't show affection to anyone else, everybody else. And really, honestly, that's kind of like how my mom's husband was. No, a lot of people couldn't stand him. I mean, just that was because of his own doing. But to her, he treated her like gold. It worked. So when that guy is acting that way towards you, or it could be you could be mean as nails to everybody else. Okay. But you have a soft spot for this guy. All right. So y'all connected that level. It doesn't matter if it works for everybody else. It doesn't have to. It works for y'all. Okay. They make your little girl come out. You make their little boy come out. All right. Yes, this was a white man. Okay. That was the white man. So your little boy come out, your little girl come out, and they're just playing and just having a great time. And here's the other thing. They make you feel safe to allow your little boy to come out and your little girl come out. Now, here's the thing, though. If you hadn't done that work that we talked about with the keeping your heart open, when your little boy and little girl wants to come out, because that's the very pure part of you, the very innocent part of you. Oh, thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate that. When your boy and your girl want to come out and you still are guarded, you're gonna like, hold on, nope, you can't. And the little girl's like, what? No, we want to go out. We want to play. We want to have a good time. No, it's not safe. And they're like, what do you mean it's not safe? Why can't I go out and play? And you're gonna hold that part of you back, okay? And it's gonna feel like you're really having this internal tug of war with yourself. All right, Narkita, what's up? It's gonna feel like you're having this internal tug of war with yourself, where you won't let yourself come out and play and be free and be in what you perceive to be a safe place. Because ladies, a lot of you have that intuition, you have that sixth sense, you have that knowing, and something will tell you, okay, he's cool. I don't perceive that this guy is going to hurt me. Now I'm talking about after you've done your work and you can really see clearly, okay? But like I said, if you're guarded, you will still be having that desire to run and pull away, even though he's all in. He's showing you, hey, my little boy's out. I mean, he's out and he's free and he's doing somersaults and backflips and everything else. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so affection, the emotional component, that's the third area of chemistry. Now, the spiritual piece. Now, I'm not just limiting this to you're a Christian, they're a Christian. Okay, I'm talking about, this is where, the deep roots of the love, go right here. All right. Is our 4 prongs of chemistry. The connection is bad again. Darn. I thought it was. Okay. Is everybody seeing that it's horrible? Freezing. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out. I'm going to come back in. And I think I'm going to take it off my Wi-Fi. You said keep going, but some of you said it's freezing. Is it freezing or is it tolerable? Where we at? I mean, I'll keep going if it's tolerable. Okay. Okay, I'll keep going. Hey, just watch the replay. If it's horrible, I'll always go back and fix it. And then if you also follow me on YouTube, I always put it out on YouTube also. And I fix it up and make it look prettier. At least I try to. Always freezes as the good part, right? I don't know what the deal is with that. So, all right. So now when we talk about spiritual chemistry, so this is the love component. Hey, what's up, Rev, Harriet? Again, how are you? Hopefully all is well. You may be so powerful, Reverend Harriet. You may have my scope freezing because that Holy Ghost just on you and it just can't take it. It's the charge. Okay, it's okay. We appreciate your consistency. Well, I appreciate you, Liz, appreciating my consistency. So we're talking about common values here, okay? So when we talk about being a Christian, the thing that makes us drawn to the Christian lifestyle is what it represents. Okay, this honesty, commitment, just all the things that Jesus represented. All right, that we feel like, okay, this is what we want to reflect in our lives. So when we see these things in somebody else that we value, okay, these are the things that I really believe they hold that foundation together. Because if I value honesty and you don't, so you can just look at me in my eyes and you can just lie to me, then we're going to have a problem fundamentally. So even as we have kids and, I'm saying, we're not connecting there. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not just necessarily limiting this to spiritually to our faith, but I'm just saying who you are, your core values, your core beliefs about how you want to live your life. It's just certain things I'm not going to do. So if there's some things that you're not willing to do that they're willing to do, and you're like, that's suspect, or vice versa, that's going to cause a major problem. Okay, so your soulmate, okay, that ain't going to be because how could that be your soulmate if y'all not connecting at that area? Y'all don't see eye to eye on that. All right, so those 4 areas, I believe, make a very strong foundation chemistry-wise for you to say, is this person, are we checking off on all 4 levels? Do we connect here and there? Now, maybe you may connect a little stronger here than you do there. For example, when you first meet somebody, you might not necessarily think they're all that amazing physically. You just might not. But as you get to talking to them and, you get to connect mentally and all, they may be like, they wasn't, but they are, I don't know, I'm attracted to them, they're sexy, they're whatever, because you've gotten to know the person. All right. And now you're seeing them through the eyes of who they are. All right. And this ain't no trick. I mean, it just happens all the time. All right. So, and guys will have that. They might meet somebody that just started out, just kind of be a friend that, I didn't see her that way. I wasn't even on, but I got to know her, man. And I fell in love with who she was. And she's beautiful to me. I'm going to watch the replay. It keeps scope that crazy. Darn, I'm sorry that this is messing up. Hopefully when it plays back, it'll look right. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it will. But here's the thing. So out of all these things that I've said, now the biggest area that you got to watch out for, I think out of everything I said, is that open heart piece. And y'all commented a lot on that open heart about how hard it is. How challenging it is to have your heart open, how challenging it is to put yourself out there again and trust again. Okay. And if you can't get a handle on this piece, you could very well miss the blessing that God has for you because you're scared and you're guarded. So if this is you and you connecting with that part, I'm just saying, get at me. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you and I talk about it? Let's find out what's going on. It's on me. It's free for 30 minutes. We just talking. We just going to find out, okay, what's got you stuck? What situations, okay, have you stuck? What won't let you move past this point? Okay. All right. And if we deem it necessary for you to do some coaching, if it makes sense, then we can have a conversation about that. But don't stay stuck where you are. All right. And for some of those of you that said you were interested in the group coaching piece, that's going to start next Saturday. I only got a couple slots available. I'm only taking 10 at the most. All right. So make sure you get at me. It's going to be, and I talked about this several months ago and I said I was going to do it in January. So I'm making good on the promise. It's you, your boo to I do. It's the you part, your baggage, unpacking it, dealing with the part about loving yourself. All right. Not just loving yourself, but also making sure that you learn how to heal properly. But loving yourself is a part of that. Also dealing with the why he married her, not why he married her. Jesus, that's a whole nother thing. Dealing with what your father didn't tell you and your mother didn't know. All right. The mind of a man. OK. I ain't met a woman who doesn't ask me, Doc, what is he thinking? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Why do men blah, 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 all of that. So we're going to talk about all that. Now, this is 3 months we're talking about. OK. OK, because the only way that I can effectively do this, I have to break it up because each one of those are major components. And the last one is, the I do piece. Was it you, your boo? I do. I do is learning how to have that kind of love that lasts a lifetime. Because when you get married, that is kind of like a beginning of sorts. When you're talking about lasting 20, 30, 40 years, how do you get to that point? I've been married I'm going on 22 years. And there's certain things that you have to know. There's certain components, all right? Each person role you have to play, be willing to play selfishly, all right, to make that work. All right. And it's an amazing time. It's a good time. It should be wonderful. Marriage should be, you should look forward to spending time with your spouse and coming home and doing things. And and it should get better and sweeter as it goes along. Okay. Whatever you see on TV and all this kind of crazy stuff, don't let that be your roadmap. And, Facebook and social media, a lot of times that's just a lot of garbage. Don't go off some of those crazy plans. You figure out what the real deal is. And you get sold out for that. So if you're interested in that, you get at me, ChristopherReid.org. And like I said, ASAP. And so if y'all got questions, y'all can go ahead and ask me. If not, I'm going to see, I always say I'm not going to be out here long. And then it ends up being like an hour later. I'm really trying to get it to 30 minutes. And then y'all probably yell at me like, man, because somebody said last week, are you done already? Yeah, I thought I was. No! Okay, questions, comments, concerns. What you got for me? What you got? Because like I said, when y'all give me stuff to talk about, I take it in consideration. Because somebody mentioned soulmates last week. And so, this week, I talked about it. So, if y'all want to talk about it, I know next week I'm excited. Because I'm going to watch that new edition joint 3 nights in a row. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I don't even understand. Anyway, that's a side note. All right. Any questions? No questions? Signs of when to let relationships go or give up on it. I like that. Yeah. It's a book title I saw that said, Too Good to Leave, Too Bad to Stay. Guys who have emotional problems and what to do. Emotional problems. Okay. Like, what do you mean, emotional problems? Like mental institution? Like, that's a good one. Which one? Emotional problems? No mom? Didn't we kind of deal with that one? With the emotional piece? I'm deal with that. Didn't we talk about that? The emotional guys who are emotionally something. Because I think sometimes I don't be wanting to do the same stuff over because I'm thinking y'all gonna get tired of hearing it. Be like, you already talked about that. And it's hard because sometimes I've talked about it. Some people didn't see it. And they're like, well, can you talk about this? You aren't tired of it? Okay. Maybe, like Tanya said, sometimes we can't hear it enough. Just keep hearing it because it's not like you hear it one time and it's it. You watched all of them? You sure all of them? There's a lot of them out there if you watched all of them. That means you like were binge watching. Like you took a weekend and watched like Game of Thrones or something. That is your voice. Yeah. If you've heard Tanya talk, that's how she talks. Well, let them hear you then. Oh, that's right. My bad. They can't hear you, can you? So I guess they just gotta take my word for it. Yeah. Sucks to be you. No mic. See, when you have the mic, you can do real ill stuff like that. So when we get on your scope, you can do what you want to do. But I have the mic. That's just so wrong. That is just so wrong. April, what up? That's all right. Well, y'all can just look at Tanya and imagine how she talks. But no, if you go out on YouTube, Tanya's on a few scopes. So talk about Christian women slurping. I didn't see that right. Or that was a serious typo. Men's issues we have to hear. Write that again about yeah. You said men's issues. Write both of those again because I didn't see all of it. I need to shave. I look like I need to shave. Are these gray hairs? I'm vain too, straight up. What do women just have to accept about men? What do women just have to accept about men? We need to get inside a man's heart and head. Okay? Good question. All right. I like that. What do women just have to accept about men? It's kind of, okay, when I come on, you talked about heart issues. The Lord told me that I had to open my heart. Is your heart closed a little bit, Harriet? Yeah, that open heart piece is scary. That's why I call myself a spiritual cardiologist. Because I do spiritual heart surgery. Not now. Oh, okay, I feel you. Yeah. Hey, that heart is something. After you didn't been beat up on so many times, it gets rough. Yeah, I give them some great ones. Yeah, how do you balance the open heart and also protect yourself? That's a good one. Well, sometimes the protect yourself part is just driven by a lot of fear. Sometimes you can have a phantom. Can you do both? Y'all giving a lot of good ones now. Hey, eventually I'll get around to all of them. But he also helps me to guard my heart. Yeah. He meaning the Lord. I ain't heard from you in a few days, Miss Harriet. Not like I should have heard from you. Not like there was anything that you're supposed to tell me. These are great topics, ladies. I appreciate it. And I will definitely pick one to speak on. Can't do without Jesus. No, you can't do it without Jesus now. You're going to need that component to get through this thing. That elder big brother reverend. That example for all of us to follow. Oh, come on, somebody. He laid the blueprint. All right, y'all. Y'all gave me some amazing ideas. And like I said, if you're having problems, I'm just looking down. If you're having problems with keeping your heart open, which is a major component, which just means that you have to heal right. You have to heal right. And having your heart open, we have whatever Jesus had in us. We need to be taught how to bring it out. Yeah. And Jesus, he said, I've come to set the captives free. Jesus was, if you think about it, if you say coaches and life coaches, he was the best ever did it. Oh, and scope on what love looks like would be good. Love looks like would be good. Huh? What love looks like. Oh, what love looks like isn't the key to forgive. Yeah, you do. If you're holding unforgiveness, forgive other people, forgive yourself. A lot of people haven't forgiven themselves. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of people feeling like they need to punish themselves for some things that they've done. And that's unnecessary. Okay. Well, listen, ladies. I am going to get off because I need to spend some time with my lovely, amazing wife who's been taking care of our daughter who isn't feeling well. She is having a little rough day, so I'm gonna go love on them as I should. And I'm out of here. Y'all be good, and I will see you on next week. I'm gonna love on them, Reverend. I'm gonna love on them. All right. Glad I could catch you live. I'm glad you could catch me too, Reverend. All right. God bless y'all. Night night.